Obviously, it's good to win. That's why you worked so hard since January, and kids have done a great job with that and work ethic. It was a ball game that probably is a little off balance to some degree. You know, you can't turn the ball over, and we don't expect to turn the ball over. And then you had 8 penalties in there. A couple of them are aggressive penalties that we can deal with, but the procedure penalties and those kind of penalties, holding penalties to some degree when you're not moving your feet, are things that we've got to get corrected. But overall, I thought our guys played with effort. We've got to play with better intensity, and Idaho's a much better team than the one we just played, and we got our work cut out for us.
You feel you guys played a better game against UCLA in the loss than you did against Southern Utah in the win?
Well, I think there's some indicators that maybe we did in some respects. We missed 6 tackles against UCLA and missed 11 plus, right near 14 versus Southern Utah. And Southern Utah had some good football players. But at the same time, UCLA has some pretty good football players. And we just have to have a better intensity to get hands to the ball.
You've talked about the difference between, or you've mentioned that the effort was there, but the intensity maybe wasn't. What's the difference in your mind? What do you see on tape that indicates there was effort but not intensity?
Well, I think there's a lot of different factors. And number one, when you're intense about something that you do, you're going to have a real focus and a real energy towards it. And I thought, when you watch at the point of attack a couple times, we didn't finish blocks. When we had holes there, they filled too quickly. So that's a matter of the intensity of how your habits are and how you're going to focus and finish. And defensively, as we looked at it, we thought, we have to give more guys to the football, and didn't do that as well as we'd like to. So, and then, the penalties before the ball snap are things that's paying attention to detail, and that's doing a good job of really focusing in and having that intensity.
Was one of the things that frustrated you maybe in the immediate aftermath of the game, even before you got to look at tape and all of those things, was the fact that in the fourth quarter, you guys weren't getting the kind of push you'd been getting earlier in the game, and they were also getting some yardage on the ground. Being as that's something that you have really focused on, is that fourth quarter, no matter what the score, we ought to be the fresher and the stronger team.
Well, that's one of our team goals, is to win the fourth quarter. And when you don't do that, you've got a higher percentage and a chance to lose. And what we did on Sunday as a defense is Rocky took the drive right before the end of the first half. And we look at the 7 or 8 plays that were in there as they moved the ball down the field, and then you look at the 4 plays from the 2-yard line, and there was a drastic difference in our minds of the intensity that we played with. And so that's all part of it. And winning the fourth quarter is a huge goal for us, because when you do that, you have a good chance to win.
What are your early impressions of Idaho after watching film on it?
Well, they're a good football team, and Rob Akey has done a tremendous job. They have a tremendous staff. A lot of those guys have been coaching a long time, and they've done a good job in recruiting. You look at the New Mexico State game from an offensive perspective, God bless you, they run for 171, and then at Washington they throw for 349. I mean, you're talking about a team that I think when you look at the quarterback, I think he is a very good football player, and big, strong-armed guy who does a nice job throwing the ball down the field, getting off the launch point some, and some of the boots and nakeds they do, makes good decisions. You look at their offensive line is a really big physical group, and you go back from last year and look at them, and you know how they're coached, and you know how they want to own the line of scrimmage and change the line of scrimmage, and they're athletic at the wide receiver, And at the tight end, Hardy, number 88, is a really productive tight end. And he's very athletic and get in the seams. And defensively, they've got two tackles that I think do a nice job of doing their job of eating up blocks and getting after it. And when you look at the secondary, number 10, I forget his name. He makes all the tackles. He plays, and he's also a great punt returner. And so I think, you look at them as a football team, and I think they're well coached and they play with a real physicalness to them on both sides of the ball.
I talked with Rob yesterday, and he talked about the offensive line and how he had some concerns. They gave up a couple of sacks. Is there, since you guys have 7 sacks in 2 games, is there something that you see on that offensive line you can exploit?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's all a matter of how we execute and how they execute. And, if we play with great fundamentals and techniques, and I think we have to be more of a defense as we learn the defense of a little more aggression to us in how we play.
What can you guys take from what you did offensively last year against you guys?
Well, I don't know. It's a different offense. It's a different offense. Obviously, Vince had a pretty good day, and he's had some pretty good days this year. So, we're going to be who we are. We're not going to manufacture things that were done a year ago because the style is different. But, we've got to be able to run the football, obviously. When you look at time of possession and the ability to run the ball and how it opens up some other things that you want to do offensively. So that would be a big part of it.
How do you like to draw the line between, and have your players draw the line between celebrating and feeling good about a victory and then getting back to work on the mistakes and the things that you need to correct?
Well, I think win or lose. That's what our Sunday's for. And, obviously we want to, you don't want a team to beat you twice when you do lose. So it's always better to correct some mistakes after a win. I mean, it's just a little nicer for everybody. But at the same point, you have to, as a team, you've got to improve every week. If you don't improve every week, you're going to stay the same or go backwards, and both of those aren't acceptable. We've got to improve in how we play in many areas. Have to improve in our kick game. We've got to improve in how our kickoff return, and you look at that part of it, and then we've got to do a better job. You look at the defensive line. We've got to do a better job of reacting some three-step drops and taking on blocks. So, it's always, you're never going to play a perfect game as much as you want to, but, no one's ever done it and no one's going to do it. So we just got to keep chipping away at the mentality we want to play with and the accountability we want to play with.
On the reaction question, were you happy with the way your guys reacted to just the game in general?
Sure. I think as we got in that locker room, I think that they had a sense that we didn't play as well as we're capable, and we have to keep making improvement. And I think that they really felt that, and they really understood that on Sunday.